So, how many months ago was it? I think it's been at least a month. Let me go look because this is quite the update to a story I wasn't really expecting. Um, I also wasn't going to stream today, but I just figured, you know what? I'm already kind of fatigued. I've been trying to write the script for a while, so let's do one additional stream this week. Okay, so a month ago I did a stream called Wikis, and I talked about how there was a wiki I'd started editing and it was like a barren wasteland. There was nobody there besides me and like one of the two mods because the other one I created just abandoned it. And I was pretty much on on cloud nine because it was a topic that I really liked, and I got to write about it. And then all of a sudden the mod on there deletes my stuff that I put in the trivia section on the grounds that it's like not notable or whatever. And I'm just like, uh, I think it's really insane to kind of like be antagonistic towards someone who's one of the few people that's actually regularly contributing to your crap. And I explained that to that mod. Um, and I was trying to make the point of how I'm a person who does a lot of different things. Like to write, like to draw stuff on here. And the thing about doing and a lot of different things and hanging out on different websites is that when you are so versatile in all the different options you have, it's a lot easier to take some place or somewhere you go and just drop it completely and it feels like you didn't even miss anything. So I stopped editing there after what I felt was disrespect towards my contributions because I don't like the idea that I add something and then another person just decides with no forewarning that this is not allowed. Like I always with every wiki I edit, the first thing I do is go to the rules section to go and look at what's allowed and what isn't allowed. And it didn't mention anything about you can't list this type of thing in the trivia. You can't say this in trivia. Never, none of that was ever put there. So there was one other wiki that I've been editing for a lot longer, since the year before last year. Now I don't edit every day. I don't even edit sometimes every month. I've had big gaps where I just don't edit at all. Because like I said, the era of me just like sitting in front of my computer for hours typing stuff up that's dead. Um, but be that as it may, I had a lot. I had up until yesterday, I had a much more pleasurable time with that particular wiki because every time something got deleted, it was because it was factually wrong. And the mod would like explain, hey, this did not actually happen, or you're forgetting about this. They would seemingly make an attempt to not just be these pricks that go around deleting stuff to feel strong. Um, I was on there yesterday and I guess I'm gonna have to like explain it a little bit more. So if you go on this isn't where it happened because they I don't even bother with this one. But for example, if you were to go on the MCU wiki and you go into like let's say I don't know, Iron Man section or like his page. If you go into trivia, it'll say like, Robert Downey Jr. lost this much weight to play this character. To prepare for this role, he had to do X, Y, and Z, right? And generally it's accepted that when you're talking about the actor and what they had what happened behind the scenes with them, with regards to playing this character, it fits there because it's the person who plays the character and like what their role was in the overarching development of the film. And I never saw any issue with this. This is also the same thing with Wikipedia. If you go on there and you look at any of the MCU articles, right? Like different characters have their own page. They talk about, what the actors were doing every movie. Um, I know that if you go on Black Widow's page, for example, there's like a whole several paragraph breakdown of the time it took for her to get her own movie, like all the little different development stuff that's been going around since 2010. So what I'm trying to say here is that giving information about the person that plays a character um in like and putting it on the article of the character in the whether it's the trivia section or somewhere else on the page that has to do with like, explaining how this came to be. I've seen done on multiple other wikis. And sure enough, I had edits like this, which seemingly were not an issue with the mod because they're still there, like even after what happened yesterday. So, anyways, I added a piece of trivia, and the mod got rid of it and said it should be on this other page, and I was like, okay, whatever. Then I added another piece where it was about the relationship of like the one of the lead actors, one of the supporting actors, and they deleted it. And they were like, "Oh, this should be on the actors and actresses page instead of the character." And I'm like, "Dude, I've never I because again, I always go to the rules section. I looked in the rules. There was nothing about you can't mention behind the scenes stuff. You can't discuss it here. It can't be posted there. Nothing." And sure enough, I've had these exact same types of edits before, and this mod never rolled them back. So somebody could look at that and say, "Oh, you're taking it too far." But I think I'm very valid to not want to contribute to websites where mods just pull things out of their what and make things up to basically they just create new rules. Like I saw nowhere in the rules section that this wasn't allowed, which is why I thought it was okay to put it. Also along the fact that I put it before, and the mod who's fairly diligent about always checking to see what revisions people are putting in place didn't roll it back. So it just seems like when they're in a bad mood or they feel like screwing with something, that's what they do. But let me address what I mean by the title of the stream, because I want to like make sure. And sure enough, I did confront the mod about this, the one that did this yesterday. And I mentioned before, for some reason, and this is why I don't really like to talk to people in writing, because they do this thing I really hate. See, one of the things I liked about when we go and we have like these different trolls that come on streams or they go on a video and they write some stupid comment is that I'll take the whole comment and read through it and like break down sentence by sentence why it's stupid. For some reason, and I don't, again, maybe I'm the only person that's noticed this. I doubt it, but for some reason, when I talk to people in writing, there is a high chance of them not responding to most of what I'm saying, if a lot of it at all. Like maybe they'll respond, you write a paragraph, they respond a sentence. I'm really sick of that. I'm really tired of these lazy responses to well thought out deconstructions of what my problem with these sites are. Because again, I don't sit here and just write paragraphs all day. Like when I write something to you, that's me specifically asking a question and like breaking down in detail why I want, what my answer from you is expected to be, or at least some answer of a similar length. Because it's not just like, oh, I just thought of so that's a problem. That's one of the reasons why I don't really like talking to people online, like typing stuff to them. Is I've always had that problem. They just selectively address parts, and a lot of times they do that because they know they can't actually address what you're saying. What a pointless section to have. That's like a grocery store having a chicken breast and chicken wings aisle. Well, Akatsuki merchant, if my thing is every wiki I go to, it could be the Last Airbender wiki, which is actually really good. The Naruto wiki, the Dragon Ball wiki before they ran it into the ground. They always have, because these are sites about, a story, a trivia section. And I just think it's really insane to like create, because a lot of times you can put useful information there like, hey, this is the only character that's in every episode, this is the only character who, I don't know, says this person's name, stuff like that, stuff that you might not have caught on or found out when you were actually watching this crap. So I don't understand why there's this like heavy moderation of something that's kind of just supposed to be there. Like, okay, if you don't think this is important, that's on you. Like, just because you don't think something's important doesn't mean somebody else won't. That's always the problem I had with WikiPiss, for example. When you go on that website and you post something and it's well sourced, it's like you could literally write two sentences about this is not notable. It's like, who the hell are you to say what's notable and what isn't? And usually the people who are telling you that stuff are the ones that don't even edit themselves. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, I was kind of irritated yesterday just with my disillusion from that site. So I went and looked at, just out of curiosity, I went back to the one I stopped, the initial one that pissed me off last month. I did the stream about. And I mentioned before, I was one of the few people that would contribute there regularly. I was one of the few people that would actually write stuff on there. Every wiki has a recent wiki activity section where it tells you like who's edited, how long it's been. There have only been 3 edits to that in the last week. There have been 3 edits to that wiki that I left in 7 days. In over 100 hours, there have only been 3 edits to it, and they were all by that same mod that, like, pissed me off. And then, so basically my prediction came true that it became a barren wasteland. So I was just so happy to see that, because remember I mentioned before, I'm a vindictive person. I feel like I don't go out of my way to screw with people that do things to me. I also don't feel bad when bad things happen to them. Um, so like for example, I never posted, oh, this wiki and don't write on here or whatever. I never, like, someone on one of my streams even tried to ask me what the topic was, and I refused to give it to them because I wasn't trying to give them free publicity. Um, so I played no role in stopping this site from growing. If anything, when I was there, I actually contributed because I made it's got like it's got some two-digit number of pages. I made like a quarter of those. But I don't feel any kind of way about it other than like, I think it's funny. I hope deleting my stuff was worth it. Losing one of the few people that actually was contributing regularly. I hope it was worth it. No, I don't think a trivia section is pointless at all. I think that they overcomplicate it, and they try to like control stuff that doesn't really need to be, I guess, moderated. Like, because again, what I define as being notable or important or should be there might be different to another person. But I just think it's so weird that like this minor part of these articles, like the majority of the articles, not even this section, and it's like it's this thing that these people are like really clingy about. Like, oh, this is not notable. This is unnecessary. We don't do this here, even though we have no rule that says you can't put this here. But I've just decided. Yeah, the actor articles are barren wastelands too. They have like literally, if you go on any of these sites, it's like one sentence. It's like this person played this part, and that's it. And for some reason, I'm supposed to, because I'll give you an example. The Naruto wiki does not have set like articles for the voice actors, or I think any real life person at all, aside from maybe, I think maybe Kishimoto, and even that I don't know for sure, but I know that they don't even bother having articles for the voice actors. They just link it back to the Wikipedia article because they think it's pointless to have articles for actor, because you get what I'm saying. It's like getting bogged down the minutia. Like, why, if I want to write about what Robert Downey Jr. did. This wasn't on the MCU wiki, but just as an example, if I want to write about what Robert Downey Jr. did to prepare to play Iron Man, and let's say, I don't know, Avengers, why the hell can't I just put that in the trivia section for Iron Man? Why do I have to go to Iron Man's article and add, like, you get where that's weird? Right, and I think that I'm fine with that. Like, the only reason I would even entertain the idea of like giving the actors their own articles is if I'm desperately trying to have more pages on the site. Other than that, I wouldn't even bother. No, I think the trivia section can be extremely helpful, like, to learning behind the scenes stuff. Because I remember when I was on the MCU wiki, and I looked at Green Goblin section. It said that he was not originally supposed to be the main villain of No Way Home. I didn't know that until I went on that wiki and read that. You know, or Defoe wouldn't come back unless he could have like a big role and do his own stunts, which is very rare for an actor of his age to still be doing. So that's stuff that if it wasn't on the actual Green Goblin article, I probably wouldn't have seen. But you get where it's crazy, like, oh, you can't put this thing about the actor who plays this character on the characters page. It must go on the actors page. Like, yeah, the actors page that nobody even reads. It's just like when I was on Wiki and they were like, oh, this sentence should go on this article instead. Like, nobody even goes to that article. And why does this one sentence destroy this page? Like, this it's weird. Oh my god. No, I don't blame the Naruto wiki for not making voice actor pages. Like, why? So they can have a sentence. Dude, these wikis are a joke. Like, I just look at the trivia section as a place where you put stuff about, again, if it's like a movie, for example, the character, the person that played him, it's like, oh, this person started playing this character after they needed money, something like that. Like, why is it turned into this complicated thing, like where people are like, this is not notable enough to go here, and we don't do this, even though I've never said you couldn't do this before, but I've decided to change my mind. Like, that's when you think about it, it's really interesting how like almost every wiki I go to has a trivia section, and it's like the most like the in on both of these different ones, this was like a big place of contention for the mod. And for both mods, it cost them a whole editor because I was like, this is stupid. I'm not about to sit here and, because I said before, it's not, the issue is not about having an edit deleted. I had my edit deleted multiple times on that one I left yesterday, and I never even considered leaving because every time before they would explain it, it was because something was factually incorrect, whatever. Um, with the only exception before this being where the guy was talking about this needs to go on this other page because which was I thought was really stupid, but I was like, okay, whatever, that's a one-time thing. But then he deletes like a whole like multiple paragraphs worth of stuff on the grounds that it's about the character and not the it's about the actor and not the character. Like, the actor plays the goddamn character in the movie. And it's not like we're listing random stuff about them. This is their relationship with the people they worked with to make this thing even be created. I don't understand. It's just such a bizarre like desire to like, I don't, what's a good way of saying it? So again, the issue is these people don't tell you that they don't allow that stuff until you just wake up one day and you see that your thing's been deleted. And the other thing that makes them like douchebags, because I've said this before, when someone actually thinks like they want to, like, I'll give you an example. I think Wikipedia is a terrible website that if I had a team of like 60, 70, 80 people, we would make a whole other site like that. It would just be called like a free encyclopedia. I hate that site. It is one of the worst that's ever existed. And I don't say that lightly. It's a place for misinformation. It's a place for people to like decide what is important and what is not. I don't like that site that much. But be that as it may, when someone on that site wants to keep information, but they want to also like take it off one page, but they genuinely want it to be somewhere, right? They will delete it off that one page and then stick it on the one that they think it should be on. With this guy, he deletes what I posted twice on two separate occasions, and then doesn't try to put it on the articles that he says it should be on, doesn't try to say, I'm gonna put this here. And that to me is like a subtle dislike. Oh yeah, you can post this here, but if it gets deleted, oh well. So that was, again, like, I'm just saying, I've seen people when they actually want to keep information, but they think it's on a different page, they'll just post it there themselves. They don't need to wait for you to do it. No, the actor articles are very pointless. They're always like a sentence. They're always just like one little blurb, like, "Oh, this person played this character." Oh, okay, great. They're like, you can tell they were only made because they were desperate to have more pages on that site. No, that watching that wiki just die was nice. I haven't. I felt pretty good when I woke up today. And I just out of curiosity came over there and I looked at how there's only been 3 edits in the last week on that wiki, and it's been by the same guy. Because after a number of days of nobody editing, it'll say the person's username, and it won't even like say like 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 7 days ago. So that site really turned into this barren wasteland, and it's so in a way it's kind of sad because I was willing to work on it, but again, I'm nobody's slave. I'm not going to sit here and have my contributions disrespected with BS rules that mods pull out of their behind and then be expected to keep going back to that system, which is undeniably broken. Because like I said, if someone can just decide to make up rules as they go along, you know, they can just make up an excuse to delete anything you put on there, and then it really becomes like, why? What even is the point of contributing? If you're always wondering, is this going to get deleted? Is that going to get deleted? And I mentioned before that one of the most amusing parts of this story was the fact that he deleted my contribution, right? Like just got rid of it. But then the plagiarism, where people were stealing stuff from other wikis to post on there, he had no issue with that. And I went on there, and apparently he got rid of it just a few days ago, or not a few days ago, but rather the week before last week. And it's like, again, you got rid of stuff I posted right after I posted it, stuff that I took the time out of my day to write. But then when some damn clown goes and steals stuff from other websites, it stays month after month. So I'm glad it's dying. I'm very happy. Hell, I might even make my own wiki on the same topic. That's how vindictive I am. I already said before, I'm so fatigued with like these websites where with editing, and they always talk about communities. Like there's no damn community. It's a bunch of people that have never had power before and who feel like when they're on one of these sites they're so invincible. So, they're just trying to get an ego trip. Because we always say, like, I just leave a site that treats me bad. I'm usually never a mod anywhere anymore. And I'm kind of fine with that because when I was younger, I was on some of those wikis as mods, and all it is just people, like expecting you to play 20 questions, and then the other mods aren't even logging on anymore. It's like, man, the hell with this. So yeah, my patience is really running thin. The only time I think it probably wouldn't be that good of a decision to put, I guess, the actors, like the stuff about them and the trivia for characters, maybe if it's a voice actor and they voice like 10 or 15 different people, like on a show like Simpsons or something. But if it's a physical actor playing a character and they're like talking about their relationship with, someone they played, I don't really see the issue there. Because like I said, I made the same type of edits before and they never got rolled back. So I thought it was okay. But that's why I said that it's all the more a betrayal because it starts to become a thing where you don't even know what's allowed and what isn't. And these people really do just pull rules out of their behind. Like they just invent reasons to have a problem with something. It's really scary. Not scary in like a horror movie type of way, but just the idea that someone can just decide this is not important enough to be here. because I do think importance is subjective. Like I could say why I think something's very important, and you saw people don't give a damn about it. That's always been the biggest problem I've had with these sites. Because see, the thing about that's so good about YouTube is that um you'll never see something get like deleted for being unimportant to people. Like people will come on a video and they'll say this doesn't matter, this is insig, whatever stupid trash, but they don't like they can't actually get rid of anything. So Wikipedia and wikis alike are basically extensions of the same type of issue where these websites don't want you to they want to basically have a couple of people, it could be two, it could be one, it could be two, it could be three, who say this information, whether it's a sentence, whether it's a paragraph, are not important enough for other people to see. And I've always had a problem with that because again, like there's so much stuff on these sites, especially somewhere like WikiPiss, where like a whole bunch of stuff is not even seen by people. Like you have people who don't think wrestling's important, so they don't go and look at John Cena's article or any of those other, wrestlers. Like it's just like that's why I said I just think it's too subjective a thing to sit here and trot around. And my favorite thing is still when they tell you that they don't when the mod wrote "We don't need you," like a general thing about how they don't need anyone and the site will live on or whatever. And then as he's writing that, there's a thing on the top of the page where they're begging you for money to keep their stuff going. I already said before, WikiPiss is not going anywhere. Like they can have no one donate, and they're still going to be, at worst, posting ads, which every other website does. It's so funny too because they always try to pretend they don't have biases because they talk in quote unquote neutral language. But if you go and read the talk pages of some of these different like articles they have, that you'll see them just arguing about everything. Yeah, I'm so tired of this stupid website. I think it started off with good intentions, but it just turned into trash. It's funny too because when I first started editing the one that's like a barren wasteland now, I was only drawn to it because it was a topic I really liked, and there were other people contributing, and I didn't want to just have some. It always just feels like kind of lonely in a way to be the only person editing somewhere. Um, so like that was it's just really ironic because like by attempting to work with other people, now I'm more drawn than ever to just doing it by myself. Because like I said, I mean, what's the point of working with people if all they're going to do is just look for an excuse to pick a fight or to have a problem with you or to be against what you're trying to do. This must go on this article instead. It's like get out of here. Mm. It's so disturbing too when you think about how like on a lot of these websites they'll have a whole bunch of contributors, but I'm telling you, it'll be made like you could have a wiki with 100 people that are just on there, right? And maybe only like five or six actually write stuff. That's really crazy. I've seen that before. Like I remember when I used to be on the Avatar wiki, I would go and look at the history. I'm like, wow, this one person wrote like a damn 2/3 of this website. This information is not notable. I'm gonna start doing that when people come to my stream and they want to talk. I'm be like, this topic is not notable. Or if you write something about yourself, I'm just gonna say it's trivia. Well, here's the thing, right? If they don't care, why are they so against you putting it there? Like wouldn't genuine indifference be leaving something as is? Like when I used to be on WikiPiss, I would have whole like list of articles I wanted to improve and work on. And I was like, you know what? I do this thing that I don't get paid for. I don't get any acknowledgement for. Um, Solely out of the, I guess, kindness of my heart. And in exchange for that, I have people antagonizing me. I have people who stalk my edits, who like follow you from one page to the other just to delete what you're. It's like this is not worth it at all. And I just thought the harassment wasn't worth it. More they don't care about something, no one's allowed to look at it apparently. Oh, if they don't, oh, like if they don't care about something, then nobody should be able to see it. Like if I write a sentence that they're not really that interested in, then it should be discarded from all existence because they decree it so. It's just so funny to think about these sites and how like they always say something is not notable. I'm like, oh, if you look at polls, most stuff in history is not notable. Who the hell do you know talks about the invasion of Poland? I haven't seen one person in real life bring up the incident that started World War II. But you would never think to have it deleted because the people on that website believe it's a notable topic, even if the majority of people never mention it, never reference it, never talk about it. That's why I said that like I don't want to get bogged down in the minutia of what's important because that depends on who the person is. My policy would always be if you can find a source that proves this and it's not libel, like oh this person says they got molested by whatever, it's like okay then have at it. But God, I swear, sometimes on that website, you'll add one or two sentences, and they'll be like, "This is not important. This should not be here." Like Jesus Christ! It's just like how when I told you I was on WikiPiss, and they were trying to make an article for Doc Ock, the Raimi one, right? Because there's like different character articles for the movie versions of comic character. Anyways, so I'm looking in the damn where they're like, arguing about it, and someone's like, being in two movies does not make a character notable. And then somebody else points out we have literal at least six, seven, eight different articles of characters that were only in one movie. With Joker from Dark Knight being a prominent example. Um, and it was like, damn, these guys just they don't even try to be consistent. They don't even try to hide the fact that they're just anti everything, that they just always have a problem with something. Because I remember when I was thinking about making an article on there and like about a character, they were like, this character is minor and they were only in one film. Like, dude, don't need your commentary. Because from what I've seen, if you can get a creation and conception section where you talk about like why this character was made, what it was like for the actor to play them, and then you obviously list what they did in the movie. Then you put reception of like what do people think of them? Did they like them? Did they hate them? Were they mixed? You know, you can actually get the article made. Like that by itself should warrant the article being made. Usually, a reception, creation, and then like the stuff with about what they actually did in the story because you gave it real world context. Yeah, they are the ultimate monarch sitting in front of your. I told you it's so funny to have people who will say I don't have a life if I stream for like let's say 6 hours out of 100 a week, right? But then people who literally like some of the mods that used to screw with me on WikiPiss, they edit. I checked one guy 500 times a day, like hundreds of times. They just delete this, at that. Delete this, write this on this person. And they don't even get paid to do that. Just sitting at their computer all day long doing it. That would like even when I used to contribute there regularly, at most I'd be on that site for maybe an hour, 2 hours a day. Like I never just sat there all day long, just type like no way in hell. I would go insane. Like I can't just be on one. The only website I could maybe be on all day is like YouTube, and that's only because it's so varied. But I'm just saying it's really ironic to have people online say you don't have a life, but then people do stuff like that, and no one says that about them. Like that, one of the mods used to harass me. He edits like 100 times a day at minimum. He'll be on that site editing from 5 in the morning to 5 to 5 at night. Yeah, they are the ultimate monarch. It's like I have my keyboard right here. I feel so powerful. I would love for somebody to just make like a whole damn like I just want all this stuff to be parodied and made fun of. God, imagine having a website that tells you what you think is trivia, what is notable, what you think is notable as trivia, but then they're over there listing which presidents were left and right-handed, and they have birth dates, and it's like, come on, man, don't try to play that game with me. That's what I said. It's just I just think no like the whole argument about what's notable and what isn't is so it's just inherently a subjective thing that these people, they just try to make up any excuse to I guess pussyfoot around doing something you want, which is why they have this one rule called other stuff where they try to say that you can't you can't argue against them because other stuff is there that like basically that's them admitting they're hypocrites and having like a page that admits that they are. Oh, Akatsuki Merchant wants to write about what's another example? Uh he's on the Burton Batman wiki. Oh, he wants to write about Michael Keaton playing, what did Michael Keaton think of his co-star Jack Nicholson when they were making Batman 89? Uh Take this to the actors pages instead of the characters pages, even though the characters were played by the same two damn people, but whatever. This is not notable to the character, even though this is stuff relating to the role that they played, which was this character, whatever. I'm telling you, you just can't win with these sites, man. They always have some BS stipulation. Nothing is notable. Everything is trivia. I said before, if you think about it, everything kind of is. I mean, like if I said, for example, oh, in this war, 100,000 people lost their lives. Somebody could say that's trivia. It's just it's too subjective a thing to even sit there and try to like actually argue the merits of. Oh, also, I'm trying to make the "What If I Was a Parent" video. Um, it should be finished. I'm gonna hope by tomorrow. If it's not by tomorrow, then I should be able to do it this weekend because I'm just gonna be by myself seemingly. I have most of the script done. Um, and I've got this person who's like asking to see it. I don't really want to send it to them, but whatever. This is just a difficult script to write because you have to like explain why you're doing it. Then you have to give your different examples of what you would do if you were in this scenario. Then you have to mention why you don't think it'll ever happen. It's just that's why I kind of just been dragging my heels with it a little bit, admittedly. and having writer's block because I do when I write a script try to make sure everything I say like every feeling I have is conveyed there. Like I'm not missing anything. For example, I wrote a script for this one video, and every time somebody comments on it, and I just kind of like read their it feels like they can never actually address what I'm talking about. They're just like, I disagree. Why? I think this was done because this moved the story forward. How did it move the story forward? You know. But that is the one thing I like about writing the script. Like I just always like the completed feeling of having the whole thing done. They are the reigning monarch. It's just really funny to me because I don't even remember like when I was a contributor on these sites, just sitting there and be like, what can I delete? What can I get rid of? Ha, ha, ha. That's what's so strange to me about like modern interactions I have with people on different like it could be Wiki itself or just one of these other wikis. Like it feels like there's always some supposed figure of authority that just like is a hypocrite or they create rules as they go along. And like I said, the biggest problem with that stuff is you have a rule section which I read. The thing you have a problem with is not there, and I make an edit and then you delete it, and it's like a bunch of stuff, and I'm blindsided by it. And frankly, I'm pretty pissed off because if I don't know this is against what you want, there's no way for me to not make this error. And also, you just wasted my time. Yeah, this guy's outside with the lawnmower or the leaf blower, whatever, whatever one of those devices he has. So Akatsuki Merchant, imagine you can like I make a wiki. Let's say it's called the I don't know. There's a YouTube wiki. Let's say it's that one, right? And you decide to put up some trivia about this person made their channel because X, Y, and Z. They had the most subscribers that year, whatever. And like let's say the stuff you write ends up being like two paragraphs, right? And I delete it, and I'm like, oh, this is not this belongs on this other article or this isn't notable. And then you go and you look in the rules section. It's like, well, hell, you never said I couldn't put stuff about the person who made this channel on the channel's page. It's like, well, then you just wrote all that for nothing. Like that's the biggest issue I have with these sites, just spitting in the face of someone's hard work. Yeah, they really are the ultimate monarch. They just pick and choose what's there. And I get really sick of it because it's like, guys, if you think what you're doing is so important, if what you're doing was so if you were as big of a deal as you claim to be or act like, you wouldn't have been so like screwed over by me as one person no longer editing there. Like literally when I stopped editing there, it was him and this guy that was plagiarizing stuff. And it was just the two of them. Like him and a plagiarizer just sitting on that site all day long. The person that actually was creating their own stuff, contributing, you know, I took a hike after the way I was treated. I was like, this is stupid. You know, sit here and act like this to me after all I did for you. Told you online, I'm nobody's slave. Especially on any of these wikis, because I don't get paid to go there. I don't get paid to like read their garbage. I just walk away. Like I said before, people should not have to have harassment for doing the, I guess, supposed right thing. And every time I run into a conflict on some site where I can edit, it's always because I tried to add stuff. Um, and I do think I'm pretty like, what gets me? It's like they always say, "Oh, you don't like when your stuff gets deleted." It's like, no, I don't like the reasonings that are given. Like I guess the choice to have your stuff deleted already implies that you don't agree with the person who's deleting it. But I think the reasons are stupid too. This is not notable. This should be on this. Like, why? Just and like I said, when they just start making up rules, that spells doom for anything because that means they can just delete stuff and then just create a reason for it right then and there. I'm gonna go over to somebody's article. Let me just delete two sentences. Oh, you're a vandal. It's like when I delete something that's already there, I'm vandalizing the article. When my stuff gets deleted, nobody's vandalizing anything. They're just reversing good faith edits. How does that work? When I delete something, I'm being a vandal. I'm vandalizing an article. If I delete a sentence or two sentences, I'm vandalizing it. But if my stuff gets deleted right after I posted it, damn near, oh no, they're just protecting the site from you. It's like, who are you kidding? That's why I said there's like an unnecessary hostility to being on those sites. There really is. Like there's an antagonism that doesn't need to be there. It's kind of like if every time you went into because they I have seen some of them try to compare it to work, but let's say every time you went into work and you saw a new person come in the store, you asked your other cashier if they could just sit there and you like follow them across the store and you're like watching to see if they steal anything. And it's like, this person did not appear to be interested in doing that. They don't have some big jacket on where they can hide stuff in there or some purse or some other like there's no reason to be this antagonistic to someone you've never met before that isn't bothering you. Just needlessly nasty. And I do feel that way about wiki editors that there's just a underlying way of acting that I don't believe is necessary. Like I think that a lot of them get off on this idea that they have power on this website because they don't have power anywhere else. So they try to like impose rules on you, and sometimes the rules they don't even tell you that this was a rule until after you've already broken it. Just a real desperate desire to try and like make it miserable for someone on there. The ultimate monarch. Mm. That's what it is. Also, Morbius is coming out tomorrow, and I am not seeing that garbage. Every review I've seen says it sucks. Ugh. I already said before. I think making a universe about Spider-Man characters that doesn't have Spider-Man is stupid, but whatever. And it's so funny too because it's like people were saying, "Oh, Sony is trying to like tell these villain stories for an eventual team." It's like, guys, when you get to a point where you just want to make a movie so it can set up another one, it's like, yeah, there's no purpose to it even being made. It's just filler that's there to like, I don't know, cushion the blow to give you false hope about some movie that's not even coming. Like I remember when I saw Tasm 2 and all the little different villain Easter eggs that were there. Ooh, look, it's Doc Ock's tentacles. Oh, it's Vulture's wings. Oh, Craven's staff. And guess what happened to all those items? They never mattered because TASM 3 was never made. Sinister 6 was never made, even though Sony's been trying to do it for a while. It's like, this stuff is just stupid to me. Like, why can't they just make a good movie? Like, I don't know anyone that was excited to see this. So it'll be real fun to watch the spin that's done for that one. I saw some really awful reviews with like 1 star, 2 star, three. It was bad because MCU fans didn't ask for or demand anything better. Yeah, but it's Sony doing that trash. Like they're the ones making a universe about characters that are related to a character they can't even use. There's a lot of stuff in the MCU right now that doesn't make any sense. Like what happened to the Avengers? Are they still a thing? Like why are there all these scattered superheroes? Like it doesn't make sense. And it's like Fury's not even dead. He's still out there, but he's just hanging out in space, I guess. Like, ugh. I'm still laughing at all the little like goofy stuff with these damn fans. Like, I can't believe you want them to make a spinoff on Green Goblin, or you want them to make. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I want to see. I tell you before that like we live in the anti everything era where if you just want something, people don't know what the script is, what the story's about, who's in it besides one character. You'll always have someone that's just against it. Like no matter what it is, there'll just be someone that's opposed to it, just on the grounds of being against it. And it goes back to the issue. And the thing that gets me is like they're the same ones who, while they're so against something, they're actively looking up stuff about it. Like, for example, I go to a TASM 3 video, you go in the comment section. I don't think this movie should be a thing because Holland is the current one and they're not gonna have multiple franchises about the same character at the same time. And I'm just like, if you truly believe that, if you truly think this will never happen, slash don't want it, why are you here? Like it's just that's why I said it's so weird to me. Like what is the purpose of being around a thing you claim is not going to happen or that you don't want to happen, but then you just it's like for some reason you materialize every time it's talked about. Like that's weird to me. I saw the same thing with Raimi 4, or Raimi Spider-Man 4. It's like I look at these different campaigns, right? One person's like, oh, release the Raimi cut of the third film because there's like 40 some minutes deleted scenes apparently. And then another person he's friends with wants a fourth movie, right? And this guy's like, what a stupid campaign. The Raimi trilogy story is complete and we don't need it. It's like, dude, if you think this is stupid, why do you keep commenting on the post by an account that clearly wants something you don't? Again, like that's weird to me. I mean, even Akatsuki merchants sometimes fall short. Like I remember when I was talking to Akatsuki merchant on one of my streams, and he said that he didn't want what was the movie he didn't want? He didn't want any movie. He said there should be no more movies ever made again. But then he went and lined up and saw the newest one yesterday. He's gonna go see Morbius tomorrow. I'm telling you, I've never met a single person in real life or even online that was like, man, I can't wait for a Morbius movie. I'm really excited for the vampire. Like nobody wanted that. So now he's gonna be the second Spider-Man villain to show up in a movie that doesn't have Spider-Man in it first. First Carnage, now Morbius. Imagine if people did that in real life. Jesus. Yeah, like you and I are talking about what we want for Avengers 5, and then somebody's like, I don't think there should be an Avengers 5. I think the MCU story is complete. It's like, man, if you don't get out of here, I don't think this should happen. I think they told the full story. I think it should be left alone. Like, shut up. So I said, people are so annoying. Like, they're just always against something. Yeah, nobody's asked these people. And like, That's why I said the internet is such a like miserable place to go and seek out what people think of something, because even when you don't see it, like if I just make a video, it's like this is why I want um I don't know what's a good example. This is why I want a third Burton Batman movie. Let's put it like that. Let's do one of those. And I say, hey, I think it would be really cool to see an older version, like an older version of Bruce Wayne in this like, futuristic Gotham City, 2000 something, just like just explaining it. And someone says, I think this his Bruce's story is complete, and I don't think it would sell. It's like, can you stop? Like, if you think this wouldn't work, and there's no way this would ever get made, and this shouldn't get all this there, why are you here? Like, for example, I think the Dragon Ball Super manga is terrible, especially like the current arc, the granola stuff. Like, that's why I don't read it anymore. When they make a new video, oh, chapter 83 spoilers. Like, I flip the channel. I go to another page. I haven't left a single channel, a single comment on a single Dragon Ball channel in probably over a year. Because I'm not interested anymore. They killed my interest. They shot it down. And maybe the movie will change that, but I don't think so. I'm just saying to you that when I actually don't care about something, or don't think it'll happen, or am against something, I don't go and like comment and watch it. That's why I think these with TASM 2, I think TASM 2 is terrible. That's why you don't see me in any TASM 2 review section, any TASM 2 defense videos. I don't want to be reminded of that movie ever again. I don't want to see a single clip or anything having to do with it. Just the entire time on this website. If you want to talk about it, that's cool. I'm not interested, which is why you don't see me on any of those goddamn videos. But people act like it's so hard to just stay away from things they claim they don't enjoy. Just like, for example, I know for a fact that, let's say I make a just again hypothetical. I said before that Benoit is my favorite wrestler. I can guarantee you, if I made a Benoit, it could be a Benoit movie. It's about like him getting the title, whatever. Um, it could be about his early career. I could cover any period of this man's life, and I guarantee you, if I do a show, a cartoon that's about this man or any other wrestler, you know what I'm going to see in my comment section? This shouldn't exist because I don't think this is a good adaptation of what actually. It's like, okay, then go make your own. If you don't like this person, why are you watching a show about them or a video about them? Like, it's weird. It's like, wow, thanks, but no one. Yeah, no one asked them. We want to hear about these damn people. Again, if you think we're doing something wrong, you're more than welcome to just go away. Nobody is asking you to stay here and watch my stuff or begging you to keep coming back. Like, no one cares. No one's bothered by your absence. Nobody even notices that you're gone. So I don't know why they feel this like compulsion. And remember, these are things they claim they don't like. It'd be different if it was something they liked, and then we say, okay, we're not associating with you anymore. Like, whatever. It makes sense. They kind of have a hard time like accepting that we don't want to do anything to do with them, like just completely distancing ourselves. But it's like this is stuff these people say is not good, that they're not interested in, they don't want to see happen, and they keep coming back to damn near anything that talks about it. Like, I don't understand. If you're so against something, why do you feel a need to search for it, to comment whenever it's brought up? It doesn't make any sense. Also, by the way, um, I know you probably haven't seen the Akatsuki, but the Flash movie and its star are getting into some real trouble because this guy um, is a real villain. He's a real villain. He threatened a couple. Um, I really just, I guess with me, I'm never gonna understand how someone can have a job like that where they get to this big time actor where they're getting paid a whole bunch of money to do this movie, and they would ruin it with bar fights and threatening people. Like that's really stupid. No, seriously, Ezra Miller must be the like either Miller thinks they have that he I don't remember it's they I don't know what the pronouns were, whatever. Miller believes that Miller has plot armor where they were, you can just get away with anything, or Miller's one of the dumbest people that ever lived, because there's no way in hell someone who's getting paid however much he's receiving as Flash would throw all of that away over a bar fight and trying to threaten some couple. And now I don't even know if he's gonna like they can't reshoot the movie. I swear, people just ruin everything. You give them like just a complete pass and this big saving grace, and they find a way to screw it up. No, if you saw the stuff with Miller, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what they're gonna do. I guess maybe someone was talking about uh replacing with no, that's not gonna work. It's too late. But they might, when they market it more about the return of Michael Keaton's Batman. Maybe they'll do that, or um, they'll try to like who else in this movie? Everybody. They'll try to promote Supergirl and General Zod and all the rest of them. Like they're gonna have to find some other angle because Miller's really botching this. All those damn allegations and threats and fist fights. Like this is really crazy. It's bad enough. I already think the movie's gonna be weird. Now I don't even know what is gonna happen to it thanks to this stuff. Poor DCEU. It can never get its feet off the ground. I'm still waiting for Man of Steel 2, by the way. I just hate that Man of Steel 2 ended up like Green Lantern 2, where like it's never gonna happen. Or if it does, gonna be like 15 years later or some other ridiculous. That's sad because Cavill really wants to play him, and I don't know why it's taken so long to make a second one. It's really stupid. I don't think this should be made. That's why every time somebody talks about it, I'm gonna come and write something. That's always the part of it that gets me, that this thing shouldn't be made, and that's why every time it gets discussed, I'm just gonna keep on looking for anyone that's bringing it up. No, I'm like the still my favorite thing probably all week has been going on that wiki and seeing how dead it is now. And the best part is I don't have to say anything. I didn't have to write a comment. So it looks pretty desolate. Nope. I just went on there, logged in, look at the activity. 3 edits by the same guy in the last 7 days. Yeah. That wiki went backwards. But like I said, man, I just feel like it's bad enough to put up with that type of stuff on WikiPiss where they have a whole bunch of editors. Um, but it's even worse to put up with it on these like small itty bitty wikis that barely have anybody editing them to begin with. Like you shouldn't even have the right to act like a diva on one of those. You got 3 people editing, and you're gonna sit here and try to pick on one of the editors. Like, get out of here. So I put my hat on and left. I was like that. It's like goodbye. Like I said, these people just go they go really nuts. It's like, wow, thanks, but no one asked you. Yeah, nobody did. I don't know where they get this idea from that they're so important, you know? I guess maybe what it is that so rarely do I actually get vindicated. Like, oh, this person did this screw up thing to me, and then something bad happened to them. You know, you rarely get to like find out about it. So being able to see that just it felt good. I was like, ha 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 ha. No, these sites have all kind of crazy people on them. They think they can just do whatever. It's really weird too because I asked my brother, "Do you want to see Morbius?" He said no. He said he wasn't interested. And then the bad reviews start rolling, and he started laughing. Um, I don't know anyone who wants to like. No one in real life has mentioned wanting to see that. I don't know who this movie was made for. Like it just seems like box office suicide to even have bothered with this. You know, like I think Jared Leto's okay, like a good actor and all, but this I don't know what the this movie I really do question if it was worth it because at least with Venom that's like a really popular Marvel character, even if he is mainly known through Spider-Man. But like I can see where it made sense to do that. But I don't know anyone who is excited for Morbius. Not a single soul. And I don't say that to be nasty toward the film, but when I hear like negative reviews of it and the box office isn't doing it, it's like I'm not surprised. I remember when No Way Home came out, I went to go see that on Thursday night, the preview night. For Morbius, I might not even see that until it gets like torrented online. Like I don't know anyone who wants to see this. I would be very shocked if this movie isn't a box office bomb or it like barely makes back with it. Or like I just don't see this making 800 million or a billion or any like no number. The most maybe is like 500 billion, and even like 500 million, even that's pushing it because you could argue even Eternals had more going for it than this. At least Eternals was officially part of the MCU. This is just like some bizarre experiment. I don't understand at all. Like you guys really had all the options in the world to make a movie about something. You chose the vampire that no one wanted a movie for. I remember when Eternals came out, I was like, you guys like Eternals and Shanks was like, you guys really picked these obscure characters to make a film about. You're really that like you're scratching the bottom of the barrel. And then you find out that Eternals is not even going to get a sequel, and then you find out that it's like, what was the point? Like, are they not going to appear in anything else? Was this just a one movie deal? Like, how often do you see with Marvel, especially if you're playing a protagonist, is it just a one movie deal? How many heroes that weren't recast can you think of that are only played one time? Only show up once. Like it's just that's why I said it's weird. All these superhero films are just going down the drain. Because after Morbius, we've got Craven, which again, it's a character I like. But I don't understand the point of we'll keep going down this road of like doing the villain without the hero. I don't get it. Um, it's just so weird. Like, why can't they just sit down with Marvel and say, you know what? we've got about 5, 6 different actors that have played villains from the respective, movies across all the different iterations of Spider-Man. Let's just make a Sinister Six movie. Why can't they just do that? Just drop a 3-hour Sinister Six movie with the Sinister Six, and if you want to, Holland's version of Spider-Man or all three of them, whatever, just these 9 characters in a 3-hour movie. Why can't that we get that? Like, I'd love to know. Why can't we get that instead of all this stupid filler? Like, I don't again, like, would I rather watch a movie about Morbius or a movie about Morbius versus Spider-Man? It's like the latter, It's just I don't get this. It just feels like they're dragging their feet, and we're being forced to go along with it on the premise that something interesting will eventually happen. Which is the same thing they did with TASM, where it's like, oh, TASM 1 is kind of like its own standalone thing, sort of, and then 2 is trying to have like be the prequel for 6 movies, and then all of them just don't even end up happening. We really do live in the era of filler where people just make stuff just to test the waters. Like they don't even like with Morbius. They even someone wrote a review where they said you can tell this movie was made because they just want to like have something out this year. Like there wasn't some story that needed to be that a creator felt needed to be conveyed through film. It's just this lifeless, bland, boring husk of a picture, and that's a really depressing thing to say about a film because I'm not an implicitly negative person. I don't just sit there and try to be against stuff, like you shouldn't have made this. Like I don't think it's my place to say that. But I do think it's my place to look at a series of choices made by a studio and question if these were the right ones. And I just think that after Venom, they learned all the wrong lessons because let's get something clear. That movie didn't make 800 million because it was this brilliant masterpiece that was such a great story and the likes of which we've no, it made 800 million because people thought it was in the MCU. They thought Spider-Man was in it. There were a lot of reasons for why that did as well as it did. But let's not lie to ourselves and say that it didn't piggyback off the MCU or from another hero. Like that's the problem I have with the Sony universe. It's taken a bunch of characters who work better with one character that they can't use and trying to like make a universe around and it doesn't work. And it sucks too because I said before Venom actually has interesting mythos, like the stuff with Null, the symbiote creator, and like they waste the first movie by having him fight a guy that's not Carnage, which implicitly means the villain's gonna be somebody nobody cares about. Then when they finally do have him fight Carnage, the movie is like short, it's too short. Um, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like just that's why I said I can't wait for Venom 3. Why? Who's gonna be the villain of that? Are they gonna bring in Null and kill him off after one movie? I'm not excited to see that. So I said it's just stupid, man. It's like it's just so dumb. Like, I don't understand the point of having these characters if every time they're in a movie, I'm just wondering, so when is Spider-Man gonna show up? When is Spider-Man gonna show up? When is Spider-Man gonna show? What's the point? These movies are literal filler. Again, with the Raimi trilogy, with TASM, hell, even with I'd say technically, yeah, with Homecoming and Far From Home, and yet it's like all of those were part of a continuous story that, well, I'm sure there were changes around the way. There was kind of like something that, there was like a general purpose to it. There was a specific reason it existed. And with these, it just feels like they're making them because they want to squeeze as many coins out of the teats of the Marvel characters that they still have the rights to without actually telling any story that's worth seeing. And it just sucks because Venom's an interesting character, and like, I that's why I said sometimes some days I really wish that we could go back to 2007 and just redo all of these different like if you were able to get Raimi to do the fourth movie and then have this Venom spinoff that's either that I would prefer is still set in the Raimi verse. You could retcon Venom's death in the third movie. You know that wouldn't even be hard. They find some way, but I really think if they had had someone who we got to see turn into Venom, which is what we saw in Spider-Man 3, play the character and then have these different encounters with symbiotes and that could lead into Carnage, that can lead in no at the time didn't exist, but at least Carnage. I think that would have been a lot better if they did that way, where it was the same Venom from the third Spider-Man movie, where they actually got to see how he became Venom, fighting eviler symbiotes. I think that would have been an extremely more appealing traditional approach to take the character in. And I really believe because they were saying they wanted to do Venom spinoff because it could make the franchise last longer. I really think they should have done that because like this whole thing of having all these different characters without the main one that glues them together, it just isn't working. And I don't know what direction this this Sony Pictures universe of Marvel, whatever that stupid title is. I don't know what direction they're going in. And that's not a good way for me to feel about when it comes to the confidence of your universe. God, if you told me 10 years ago, I mean, hell, even like let's say 5 or 6 years ago, if you told me 5 years ago or 10 years ago that we would live in an era where Marvel has the film rights to Spider-Man, but then Sony has the film rights to Venom and Morbius and all these other different characters. It's like what is that? Imagine if after the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman started like the Bale version of Batman started appearing in no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's say after Dark Knight trilogy, you get the DCEU and they're doing a Justice League movie with Batman. When they do a Batman movie, they have him fight, I don't know, Professor Pig or um, what's the other one? Hugo Strange, the guy with the bald head. So and then you're seeing a Joker spinoff and a Penguin spinoff and a Mr. Freeze. And you're like, why are they not with Batman? What are you guys doing? Or hell, let's say, imagine if it was Superman, right? Where after returns, you see Superman in the DCEU, but he's fighting I don't even know. What's a good example? Um, let's say he fights Brainiac. Let's just give that's the first movie, and then after that movie comes out, he fights Bizarro, and then you see a Lex Luthor spinoff and a General Zod spinoff, a Fiora It's like, what are they doing? Like, why are they not fighting? Or excuse me, depicting these characters with the one that binds them together. Another good example. Imagine when Marvel gets the rights to X-Men, they only get the rights to X-Men, and then Fox is like while they're making X-Men movies where they fight I guess they let's say they bring over Magneto. Like first movie they fight Magneto, second movie they fight Apocalypse, and then at the same time 20th Century is putting out a movie where it's a Mr. Sinister spinoff and a Hellfire Club, and you're like, why are they depicting these villains, these antagonists, without the protagonist? That again, the ones that glue them together, like any other character, this is weird for, and it's just as weird for them in these hypotheticals as it's weird for what we're actually seeing with Sony. a Venom movie without Spider-Man has to create an origin for him that deprives the character of why he exists. He's supposed to be trying to get revenge, both the symbiote and Eddie Brock. Um, so you give him the symbiote without him. It's whatever. It's weird, 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 weird. You have him fight a symbiote that nobody cares about, not because Carnage was too hard to explain, but because they thought gray looked better than red in the dark or some dumb reason. You kill that symbiote off after one movie, right? So then you have Carnage in the second one, then you kill him off after one movie. And it's like, so what again, what of value is being granted by the existence of these movies? Like I don't really see it. Because to me it just seems like we're just getting jerked along. Like maybe in Venom 3, they'll show Null or they'll show more symbiotes that are gonna get killed off after one movie. Because God forbid we actually develop the damn characters of our crappy universe, of our crappy Spider-Man-less universe. Then they had Vulture, and like I remember the only reason anybody was curious about Morbius was because Vulture was there, and they thought it was going to reveal that it was set in the Raimi verse or it was set in the Tasm verse. It's like, man, who cares? They're not even if they don't use the characters from the Tasm verse or the Raimi verse. So what if it's set there? Like I could say my show is set in the Simpsons universe, but if you don't see Bart in any of the episodes, what's what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like what is the point of having things set in the same universe if they don't ever cross over or meet up or there nothing comes from that fact. It's just in the same universe. It's like okay, great, I guess. God, Sony just dropped the ball completely. Like I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. They're seeking to form a team of people. Um, I just I'm not excited for anything else Sony's putting out because the problem with Sony is they're like I'm not even like a big person who just like completely blows like sucks off the MCU, but the one thing Feige is pretty decent at is making a story seem like it exists for a reason besides setting up a grander tale. And Sony has fallen on their face every time they try to do that. And I don't know what it is because it's like, you know, you look at the Raimi films, the first movie, a complete film, the second movie, a complete film with that one little thing with Harry, which can be resolved in another. And it's like, I don't know where they started getting this idea of every franchise has to have like so much stuff in one movie to where it's there for the part like people would talk trash about Spider-Man 3, but the stuff that's there in that film is meant to be resolved in that film. Like you don't watch that film and they go, "Oh, they put Eddie in here. I can't wait to see him become Venom in the next movie." No, everything that's there is meant to be fixed or resolved in that one movie. And I don't know where they began having this obsession with like every time they do a film, it has to tie into several other things. It's so weird. I don't get it at all. Like just they are obsessed with these damn cinematic universes, and they've been like this ever since Marvel started. God, I don't know why they can't just make a movie and then if it's good, make another one. Make a full complete film, you know, like damn, it's just irritating. Sony is just so irritating, dude. I know they're trying to do the same thing with Ghostbusters, where they were trying to like make a universe out of that with the international teams and stuff. It's like Guys, just make a movie, and then if it's good, make another one. I'm tired of like trying to spin off into 100 different like just that's why I said Tasm like really got screwed over because the first movie I still think is pretty decent, but the second one is one of the worst superhero films the last 20 years easily, and it's a lot of it has to do with studio interference, and just trying to cram too much stuff into one movie. And it goes back to this thing where they just assume everyone's going to be on board to watch their garbage, and they don't even put any thought into how good it is or if it works. Like just they don't care. Just make something to try and set up something else. Don't ever try to just create a full complete story anymore. It's so antithetical to what filmmaking is supposed to be, where people who have an idea want something to be made because they want to see that idea actually, flourish, like be something that we can just enjoy the damn movie. Like you don't have to sit there and wonder, I hope this gets resolved in 3 years. Just God, I don't understand that at all. And the thing is, like, I don't have a problem with the sequel hook, but it feels like if you look at TASM 2, you have a Sinister Six film they're trying to set up, two more TASM films, Black Cat movie. Like, that's four films that they're trying to set up from this one movie. And people don't think something's wrong with that. And again, look at them now. I just went and looked up the post credit scene for Morbius. Apparently, I know Vulture's in it, but he goes up and he's like, "We need to make a team of people to stop Spider-Man," which makes no damn sense because apparently, why would he be seeking whatever? It's so weird. And like I said, if we ever do get the Sinister Six movie, I just have this very uncomfortable feeling, and I hope I'm wrong. They're not going to use Defoe and they're not going to use Molina because they never do anything right almost. And they just keep finding ways to make at least if Sinister Six comes out and it's got those two in it fighting, it could be Holland's, it could be all three of the Spider, whatever. Just let's say, just for the sake of not getting our expectations too high, they're only going to fight Holland's version of the character. I would still look forward to it because again, I've got two returning actors that I really want to see more of, and I'm always up for seeing more of playing characters that I like and I think are enjoyable. Great performances. So that would be something I would look forward to. But this whole universe of just making a bunch of movies that are just there to set up something else, I'm not looking forward to it. It's been Sony's film universe is the literal cinematic equivalent of a crater of something that is just kind of there and kind of annoying, and you know not to fall into it, but every time you see, like, why can't they just fill that up? Like, why can't they just fill the universe up by putting in Spider-Man and like just making stuff centered around him, which is the point of these characters because they were created to center around him. It's just it's weird. So I'm gonna get off of here in like a minute or so. I really I don't understand Sony. I think they're gonna take another L. I don't even like using that term that much, but I think this is going to be the if it's not their first box office bomb, I will be very shocked to see what is because I think they've made a really big mistake with this film. I don't think Morbius works without Spider-Man, but just like not even just that, but like I don't understand the point of this universe. This is we're three movies in. It's just a very I'll be shocked if we get a Morbius too. I'll put it that way. I'll be very surprised. I will be very, very in disbelief. We know we're getting the Venom 3, but if we get a Morbius 2, I will be just completely humbled at the thought. Like, wow, they're actually making that after the first one performed so awfully. Bad reviews. I haven't heard one word about how the box office is doing, but I can imagine it's not that great. So we'll see. It's just sad that things have to be like this. Like I just wish we could get all the characters of Spider-Man together and like actually just have a regular. If you want to do a cinematic universe, at least do it right. You know, let's do a universe about this character without this character. Brilliant. So thanks. See you later.